Hi everyone, I'm Jenna, and today I'm going to talk about my top favorite books of 2018. Now, this video is going to be different from my past best books videos in two ways. The first way is that instead of listing my top 10 books that I liked of the year, I'm going to be sharing with you only my top 5 books of the year. And that is mainly due to the fact that I didn't read that many books, and doing a top 10 didn't feel right because it felt like I was including all my books on the list, and it wouldn't be an accurate description of what my top favorites are. Then, the second thing that I'm doing differently is I'm actually, for the very first time, ranking my top books. From least favorite to very, very favorite. And in past videos, I've only had my number 1 book as my number 1 slot, and the rest of the books were just in any order that I decided to put them in, because I really couldn't decide which books I loved more. But I was able to do that this year. So now that that's out of the way, I'm going to take the opportunity to tell you guys that you should probably pause this video and get a snack and or drink, and then come back to this video, because I have a lot to say about each of these books. So I just know that this video is going to be on the longer side, but I really hope you guys enjoy this video. So coming in at number 5 is Beneath the Sugar Sky by Seanan McGuire. And this is the 3rd book in the Wayward Children series. Now, even though this is my least favorite book of the series, it still made my top favorite books of 2018 because of the writing style and the whimsical feeling I got while reading this. Now, I'm not going to tell you the plot of this book because
spoilers,
but know that this book was amazing. Now, the plot of the first book follows these kids that have gone to magical worlds and found that they really fit in there better than they did in the real world. But for whatever reason, some of these kids get spit out back into the real world and have to deal with living in the real world and not really being accepted and wanting to get back into the magical world, which is very hard to do. And that's where this boarding school comes in, and it is being run by this adult who knows what the kids are going through because she has gone through it herself. And that's basically the plot of the first book and the thread that runs throughout all the books. But there is nothing happens in the first book, which I'm not really going to say specifically what it is, but it happens after Nancy comes to this boarding school. And the after effects of that are seen in this book. Not specifically throughout, you just normally see it in the beginning portion. And I really love this book because we got to see a lot of new magical worlds, and as you can may guess from the title, that we go into a sugar world, and it's great. And I'm excited for book 4 and can't wait to read it and continue on with this series. Coming in at number 4 is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This is the latest book that John Green has written, and my second book that I've read of his. And let me tell you that this book did not disappoint in the least. This book follows a girl named Az, or something like that. Not sure how to pronounce her name, but I'll leave it on the screen. Throughout this entire book deals with OCD. And it also follows a wealthy boy named Davis, dealing with the fact that his father has gone missing. And the two storylines kind of come together when Azur Ace and her best friend convinces her to investigate why Davis's dad has gone missing so that they can collect some evidence to take to the police so they can collect a reward. The story quickly becomes so much more than that. What I love most about this book, I think, is the OCD part. It felt really authentic, and for good reason, because John Green deals with OCD, and him writing about it felt really authentic, and he did a really good job of portraying Ace's OCD. And I also liked the sort of relationship that kind of forms between Azur Ace and Davis throughout the book. I like how they kind of start as like friends because they're just sort of seeing each other again after a long time of not seeing each other, because I think the last time they like saw each other was when they were like young kids, and now they're like teenagers in high school and they're just seeing each other again. And I just loved it. I loved how her OCD like played into that, and it just kind of felt like me in a way, even though I don't deal with OCD, because like sometimes she wouldn't want to like to chat things or go and actually see him. She just wanted to like talk to him, but through text messages, and I found that to be like kind of me, because I don't know, somehow that takes like pressure off of her and stuff. But this book is really great, and if you haven't read it, I'd highly suggest that you read it. It's so good, and another fabulous book by a fabulous YA contemporary author. Coming in at number 3 is William Shakespeare's The Empire Striketh Back by Ian Doescher. And this is the second book in the William Shakespeare Star Wars series that is written in the way that Shakespeare wrote plays. And let me just say that this book is amazing. If you like Star Wars, you will love these books. I know I sure did. It takes the original story and just takes it to a whole brand new level. That's simply amazing, like I've said before. Now, I didn't actually read this book. I actually listened to it on audiobook, and I'm so happy that I did, because you have different people reading for each of the different characters. Then you got some Star Wars music throughout and sound effects and things that just makes this book come alive that much more. And the reason why this book's number 3 is probably mostly due to the nostalgia factor of this. I am a huge Star Wars fan, and just seeing it this way in this like new format that really works with the story is just amazing. And if you are a Star Wars fan, I would highly recommend picking this book up, because it's easy to understand and easy to follow. And I say that because William Shakespeare's stuff they have to read in like high school and stuff is not that easy to follow, but this was easy to follow, I think mainly because I really knew the story of Star Wars, and everything just made that much more sense. So again, if you love Star Wars, what are you waiting for? Go pick this book up. Coming in at number 2 is What Is Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. Now, I haven't read anything by Becky, but I have read the current 3 books that Adam has written, and I loved all of them, so you know that I was pretty much going to love this book. And I did, since it's number 2 on my top 5 list. And this book follows these 2 boys on the cover, Arthur and Ben. Arthur is staying in New York with his parents while he does like this internship. his mom's work. And Ben recently broke up with his ex-boyfriend, and he's taking a box that says boyfriend things to the post office. And there, these two meet, strike up conversation, and then get separated. And it's all about them trying to find each other, them wondering if the universe is thinking, because at first it seems like the universe wants them to be together, but then if it did, why did it tear them apart? Or is it them that's screwing it up? And let me just say that this book is so cute, while at the same time showing you how real relationships can be, because Arthur and Ben's relationship really doesn't work out at every turn, and it's a struggle for them to make it work, but they're just so cute together, and I loved it. And this book I got, let's see, the day after it came out. I tried to get it the day it came out, but Barnes & Noble did not have it. So I went back the next day and they had it, and I read it in like the next couple of days because I could not put this down. And when I had it down, I just couldn't stop thinking about it and wondering if these two kids were going to be together and get the happy ending, or if Becky and Adam were going to make a tragedy or rip my heart out. I'm not going to spoil the ending for you guys, but it made me feel all the feels, and I really loved this book. And I especially loved that there are all these like references to like Hamilton and Harry Potter and things like that that made the book feel really relevant, like it could be happening in 2018. And one of the things that I loved about this book, other than the romance, and I know that some people don't like that aspect, but I found it very enjoyable. If you like cute romances, I would highly recommend this book to you guys, because it'll have you flip into the book and want to know what happens next and if these two are going to make it together or not. And I could literally go on and on about this book, but I won't, because I don't want this video to be too long and I got another book to get to. So let's move on to a number one pick. Now, coming in at number one, which is my favorite book that I read in 2018, is The Child Thief by Bram. And I'm so excited to talk about this with you guys today. Now, if you don't know, I have made an entirely separate video reviewing this book. And if you want to go watch it, if you haven't, I will leave a link below to that. But just know that I really love this book. And the reason why I love this so much is because it is a Peter Pan retelling, and I really love the story of Peter Pan. So essentially, this book follows two perspectives. One is Nick, and the other is Peter, obviously. So Nick is a 14-year-old boy who is dealing with drug dealers that are prying on his family. And in the beginning of this book, Peter finds him in a confrontation with these drug dealers. And so Peter swoops in and saves the day. And in doing so, earns Nick's trust. This leads to Peter telling Nick about this magical world. Now, in this book, it's not called Neverland. It's called Avalanche, which I believe is how I say the name, but I could very well be wrong. And it's a world that used to be vibrant and teeming with magic, but now it's going gray and the magic is almost gone. And Peter, throughout the years, has been recruiting the Lost Boys, which in this case he calls the Devils, to help him fight off this evil that's in Avalanche. and Peter is the last boy that he recruits. And once again, let me just say, this book is really fantastic. It takes the original Peter Pan story and turns it on its head, and Bram gives it this dark twist. And Bram got this idea all because of the line in Peter Pan that reads, "The boys are on very course in numbers, according as they get killed, and so on. When they seem to be growing up, which is against the rules, Peter thins them out. But this time there are 6 of them, counting the twins as 2. And that's like really the only like really dark part in the original. And Bram, after he read that, got this question instead of, why are they being thinned out? Why is Peter doing this? And if they knew more about Peter, why would they be so willing to come with them to Neverland and all that? And that's how this book was born, and I'm so glad that Bram wrote it because it is amazing. And in the story, I think unlike the original, Bram makes Peter more of an unlovable character, because here Peter's regard for the other boys is really not good, because he's really only using them to help him save the world and doesn't care really for what happens to them. At first, Peter is just using Nick for his own ends, but eventually starts to really care for Nick. And that was nice to see, like Peter's sort of transformation. And I also loved reading from Peter's perspective, because at some points you got a sort of look into the past of how Peter grew up, how he got to Appalachia, and what got him to the point where he is now. If you love the original Peter Pan story, I would highly recommend you give this book a try. I have to say that this book is more dark than the original, even while it has like this like slight whimsical element going through it. It's not really as prominent as the original Peter Pan, where there's like all this magic and all that, but it's still really good, and I would highly recommend it. And this is one of those books that I cannot wait to reread, and ever since I read it has been like on my mind almost constantly. So happy that I read this year. So that rounds out this video for today. I really hope you liked it, and please feel free to leave a comment below telling me what your favorite books were of 2018, because I'd really love to see what you guys have been loving in 2018 as far as reading. And I will see you soon for a new video. Bye!